And there we are. Welcome to another episode of Australian Reptile Q&A on a Sunday afternoon out of beautiful Australia. That's majority of the country is in lockdown. Is it the majority of the country in lockdown? I just wanted to say hi to Brent,
All the bits that matter. Yes, afternoon all.
Darren, and Marty Bahaja.
Oh, I got a full name. Full name.
Why have we
Special
got a
mention.
Why have we got a feedback now? Whose mics on? Whose speakers on and their computers? Is that Marty's laptop? That's switch off the sound on the laptop, Marty.
They tell me this all
Come
the time
on.
when I'm on the radio. I should know.
Okay,
Come
no,
on,
that's
Marty.
actually okay now.
Is that better?
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Welcome, lads, on another Sunday afternoon special.
Yeah.
Afternoon all.
Afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
So far, so good. We haven't had any glitches. We've all arrived on time. We all look beautiful on our screens. I really appreciate the effort that went into this. Thank you.
Except Brent.
I
Except Brent.
feel I'm the odd one out that didn't get a fresh back sucking crack wax. Like
Of
these
course.
three blokes are all glowing there on camera.
You didn't get the email.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
no, we were.
left me out of that one.
I might just do this to you, so we don't have to see you.
I can't be seen with this much beard either. It's gone past the point of well cared for.
Yeah, no, but tell me. So, are you allowed to? So, what is the state of affairs in? I know that we're not the laughing stock of the world. I just see a lot of news reports about how tough Australian lockdowns are. And knowing from Melbourne's state of affairs last year, I mean, Marty even moved to Queensland because he wants to get away from the lockdown.
I'm in lockdown now.
For the people that
You took the lockdown there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for the international viewers, what is the state of affairs? How tough is the lockdown where you are, Darren?
No, we're screwed here. It's pretty tight at the moment. I think we had another 200 and I think it's close to 240 cases of COVID today alone. So all over Sydney. So southwest seems to be pretty bad. But yeah, it's everywhere. We've had it up around my area. There's been a case. So it's all from one case, and look how much it's spread. Just because dickheads want to go and protest and do stupid shit, So yeah, it's pretty bad. Here's what it is. What do you do?
Darren, how far away? So Darren, I see we spoke earlier. You in the zone of but wasn't the lockdown a little bit more restricted earlier last week?
They're constantly. It's getting stricter and stricter. So there's more areas being in like a tighter lockdown. Without travel, without to go one person in the car unless you're in the same household and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, look, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Simple as that. Even, we normally get Woolworths home delivery to do our shopping, which we'd order like today and get it tomorrow. It's now a week delivery time.
Oh,
so there's a lot of people doing the right stuff and try not to go out, but my wife had no choice today but to go do shopping, and also for my parents because they're pretty old and they can't really go out at all with the climate we're in at the moment. So it's about everybody, not worrying about yourself, but actually caring about everyone else around you. Stay at home if you don't have to go out.
We saw this. Somebody, Aidan Dempsey, howdy gentlemen, Az and Brent.
He's learning, gentlemen. He's getting there.
Yeah.
Put a shout out to Mr. Dempsey. He's got a new service online, something about OnlyFans, some nurse dress up requests or something. If you want any special requests, message Aidan Dempsey with your requirements of nursing specialties online.
He's got a special nurse outfit that he wears.
He does have the full outfit and all the rubber gloves and all the gear. So if you want something done, hit him up.
I'm just gonna
His own lube.
Don't just ignore me. I'm just going to mess around to see what's going to give us the best view here on our screen. So,
If you delete Darren, that will give us the best view.
That's nice. I was going to have a go at my niece, but now I'm just not going to say anything. Yeah.
Nice. Hang on.
Oh well, we always ignore you. It's like,
At least your microphone's working today, Des. What did you work out?
yeah, I put the plug in the hole.
I think last time, it was your hair getting in the way of the microphone. Now you're all clear.
He was talking through a toilet door, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he says, it sounded like he was talking through a toilet door. It did sound like that.
I tried
Well,
a different USB port in the laptop. Seems to fix
we
the problem.
we troubleshoot it. We troubleshot it this morning. Let me use the right grammar. Darren Boswell, hello. Dave
Great.
Mus Williams.
Yeah,
That's what happened to the mullet. Okay, you know, it's going to be the constant.
Well,
It's going to be the main topic of the conversation this
I
afternoon.
was
the
very
hairstyles.
close. The hair was like getting really long, and I actually shaved all the side. I was going to leave it like that just to give the nest the shits, but I thought I better not, so I just kept going.
Yeah, no.
Jezza. Hello,
You have, to
Jezza.
you have to prepare people for hairstyles, for no hairstyles. You know, like you have to let them know. Look, I've cut my hair. You sort of introduce them slowly, and then you run into it. But you can't just cut your hair and not let your wife know. Yeah, that's
I'll
the
try and cut my
measure.
hair and not show my wife.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I've tried to grow a Danny DeVito before, a little bit of a,
Oh, in the back.
attitude.
What polish
Bit
do
of
you use
rat's
on your
tail.
head, Marty?
Uh,
Very shiny.
turtle wax.
Turtle wax.
Oh, okay. We need to start going in some direction here. So we really didn't. We're streaming all over the internet today, so it's nice. Colin Ray's there. Hello, Colin.
Chris.
Hello,
Mr.
Colin.
Ray.
Chris Fry. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Jeremy Findley is there. Shall we do the chat here so you guys can see the chat, or shall I just? I'll
Nah,
keep it there so people
I can see it.
I can't see it.
We need to make it. Oh, did you go with the front camera or the back camera in the end, Marty?
Marty surely went with the rear. Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure which direction this is going to go, but
It's not going to go in any good direction. It's not just it's just going to go backwards. So I guess with having somebody said, Leah said earlier, is it Bennett? Yeah, she said earlier that we have reptiles, so plenty of things to do during lockdowns. So it's a perfect time, I guess, to get on top of things and to get into your collection and make it spotless and do all the dusting and vacuuming and all the stuff that you don't normally get to do when when there's not a non-COVID around. What's the state of affairs like at the Brent at the Smith House, Brent?
Yeah, same as always. Look, nothing really changes for me. I'm still allowed to go to work, being essential in automotive. But home life, I mean, it's frustrating when you do want to do something, you just can't go anywhere, do anything. So, but everyone's in the same boat. So it's just, I spend most of my days here on the weekend anyway. So it's no massive change. But, a simple trip to Bunnings for something's just not even on the cards anymore.
Okay. And with this, and what's happening with the season so far? I guess all three of you guys are doing a lot of introduction stuff. Marty, what's happening up in Queensland? What's your season like? I know you moved recently.
I'm not holding my breath, but with the move, it was a bit stressful. I don't even know if I've been online since then, but as in on the stream.
No.
Everything's been good. Girls are starting to roll. I'm not sure how late it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually August, September is my stuff's ovulating down in Melbourne. So I'm hoping it's the same. But this is a very small room. So temperatures was hard to drop at night time.
Yeah.
But it's starting to get there.
But you've got the air conditioner built in on the. That's a pretty handy little setup you've got there. So explain to people what you did when you went through the whole phase of we discussed how you think would be the best way to get your collection up there, and tell people what you ended up doing. What was your solution in the end? Because all of us enjoy those. I mean, it looks great on camera though. The rooms with all the racks in the back, doesn't it? Awesome. So tell us what did you end up doing with the move up to Queensland, mate?
So I purchased a shipping container secondhand. I then, no different to my shed in Melbourne. I just decked it out exactly the same except for the water. I've got power, very high power points every meter apart. Air conditioning, I put in a 2.5, I think, split system.
Yeah.
Internet, so I ran my Ethernet cables in there so I can just plug and play as soon as I got here, which about the internet, it took me a while to get it going.
Yeah.
I moved all the furniture up in the container. So the container was finished, ready to go for the animals. And I drove the animals up in a truck. Some people on the internet helped me with truck hire companies. So I drove them up within 24 hours and then got the container, hired a crane, moved the container, got the truck to drop the container off. Then I got a crane to put it into position and then got it all powered up.
Tell me, you insulated the walls on that container because you wouldn't just stick a metal container out in the sun in Queensland. What did you do with your insulation in the walls?
So
I know a lot of people don't follow you on. There's probably people that don't know about your page. So Marty owns a page on Facebook called Reptilia, and he specializes in Antaresia. Just for people that don't know. So did you share the photos of your move on Reptilia page, or was that on your own profile?
Oh, I can't remember. I put up a photo, 1 or 2 photos.
Okay.
Obviously, you're a big fan of cool room panels. I couldn't actually locate them in Melbourne. They were a bit expensive when I was looking.
Yeah.
So I just went with a normal insulation in the walls from Bunnings. And then I actually used ply from a second-hand shop. They actually had used ply that I just got cheap. And I was able to line the walls. And I find ply is easy because then I can screw everything into it.
Yeah. Okay. But it works all right. It maintains. How warm does that that container get on average with the insulation in the now where you are now?
Oh, without the aircon on, it will still get over 30.
Oh, okay. But it would have a buffer though with the, and it's not really summer. You haven't really tested it. When did you get there? Did you get up there in March
I got in March. The reason it gets up to 30 is because everything's on. It's so small in here that everything's on.
But you didn't have lights. But did you feel summer up there like full
No.
I
got up here. When I got here, it was raining nonstop.
Okay, so that's lucky.
Yeah, so it was a good time to move. We got it settled, enough time for the animals to just chill out, and then we paired up in late, I think start of June. I think I paired. I think, yeah. I'll go probably later next year. I won't do it that early again.
All right, but things are.
Did you do anything with the roof on that, Marty? Like, have you got just the container roof by itself, or did you put a separate roof on top of the container?
I've got the shade cloth ready to go to put it up to take the heat out of the sun. I just haven't done it yet. I want to get, mate. It's another job that I keep putting off, and I keep looking at the same shade cloth, 2 rolls of it. I think it was like $300 for the shade cloth for the UV protection one. But I do need to get up there and just put that a good foot above it just to take the heat.
Yep. Get that air gap,
But your insulation's the whole shed. You did the roof as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it did everything.
Okay. You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That would be.
Listen, it's a good little. A few guys have popped in and had a look at the setup for what it is. I'm lucky I built the rack sideways to fit in here, because if they were the other way around,
not enough room.
I wouldn't have much room.
Yeah.
So
what size container is it? Is it 20 or 40 footer? Or?
It's just a 20. I'm lucky I was able to put it to where I put it, because the body corporate, the guys have been pretty good with me putting it on their land.
Oh, so tell us about the perils. Sorry, I'm heavily. I mean, we don't have you. You're not always available for live stream. But sorry, I'm focusing on you so much. But I think a lot of people, just for future reference, like I want to ask the questions about this container. So, what were the perils? I know you went through some drama. So before somebody wants to put a container in their backyard, I guess there's some red tape that needs to happen. So what was the whole process of you, and what are you going through, and like what are the things that people need to be aware of before they dump a container for snakes in their backyard?
I think there's a big difference if you actually own your own home. I don't think that's an issue at all, because it's a portable. It's not a permanent structure, so you don't need permits or anything like that with a container. And Brent, I think, would know that too. He's got his. Is yours a permanent structure?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what point it becomes permanent, because I had to get mine craned in as well, but it's got water and power and everything else, internet cables running to it. So, but essentially, it is a side shed that is removable. So, I guess it's always something that can be picked up and taken away.
I faced the biggest challenge of the other owners knowing what was in it. Like, I was just too scared to tell them what I kept, so I just told them it was my office.
Yeah.
Just tell them it's a drug lab. Like, what's their business anyway?
It's a cooking facility.
Yes. Nothing to see here, just a drug lab.
All my neighbours think that, because I've got cameras on the outside, like it's Fort Knox, and I come in and out every day under padlocks and doors and alarm bells ringing, to keep it locked up. So they swear they must all think it's a drug lab here. Been in Penrith and all too.
Yes. So we had a few hurdles there. I was a bit stressed for a while, but listen, everything's settled. The power's run to it. They'll ask him to move cables. They wanted me to change things, and in the end, it's all worked out. So I'm set up.
So is everybody relaxed now? Is it an
Yeah, they're all
atmosphere
relaxed.
of okay, because I know
Yeah.
at one stage you're having issues, So
Oh yeah, I was having big issues, but it's all worked out.
yeah, people just there's one thing in life, people always get over things, just it's just the time frame that differs, sometimes they get over it quickly and sometimes it takes some warming up to it. And I think you said that the major issue was that people were worried about fires. Yeah.
That was the insurance issue. So they wanted to add the container to the body corporate,
Yeah.
which was fine, which I said no dramas at all. And then the insurance company declined the insurance because I breed snakes.
Wow.
So it didn't matter, even though the contents weren't insured, even though I didn't want the contents insured, I just wanted to treat it as if anything happened. And then we had to go through a different insurance. It was very headachy, based on nothing.
Oh, well, as long as you can enjoy and sit back now and not stress about peripherals, that's good. Things look like they're starting off as well. Once animals, that's the major thing with moving animals. I think we've had a few people that we've known over the years that has moved state or moved house during just before breeding season, and the results have been very average. I can name a few people that's moved stuff. So it's always interesting to see how a collection recovers from a big move like interstate, because the weather, they'll know that they're in a different place, completely place.
I wouldn't be lying if I told you I wasn't nervous. I tell you, because I'm just wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. I've got a few pairings this season. The girls are rolling. Everyone's been mated. It's whether or not that next trigger kicks them off. So fingers crossed.
So I just wanted to say as well that to people, if you feel like asking a question, ask a question. I know it's during breeding season now. If there's anything that this is why we have these get-togethers on once a month or twice a month. Whenever we are available, especially now during COVID. It's good. It's good. It's something to watch while you're sitting at home. That's not just bloody Netflix or something else. So if there's something that you need to know about breeding season, between a lot of us, we've worked with Reptile. We've worked with generally most species, most of the beginner and most of the regularly kept species, the four of us would have dealt with in the past. So if there's even lizards, so this is not just a snake exclusive show. We can talk about lizards. Darren and I have kept lizards in our time, and Brent's kept a few monitor species, and Marty specializes in Theresia. So go ahead and ask a question if you feel like asking a question. Don't be shy, and remember to share it as well. There's it's always good to share these type of things. So Darren, what's the state of affairs down at Morelia? Darren owns a page called Morelia by Design on Facebook. If you want to go check him out, he does a lot of the silver pepper stuff and all that stuff. So what are we looking? Are we still looking at 20? How many clutches did you say last time? I know that's a changing thing. Like this,
there's been a major problem.
There we go.
And that's called COVID. That's called COVID, and I got bored. So.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, might pair this together and pair that together and do a couple of these as well. And yeah, it's getting a little bit out of control now. So I've actually started to stop pairing things up. I still got a couple of things I'd like to see go. So there's still a couple of things I'm working on.
Yeah.
Tell them how many locks, Daz. Tell the truth.
More than 20.
Come on. Say the number.
49.
Okay, so it's only
yeah. Last night it was numbers 48 and 49 lockups last night. So, yeah, a lot of it's just common stuff, but just some things that I hadn't bred for a while. Decided to pair up. I just had a look at my Roughies this morning, and the girl looks a little bit swollen, so I'm keeping my eyes on her because I haven't bred my Roughies for probably 4 or 5 years, I suppose. So probably 3 or 4 years. I don't think I've bred Roughies. I've bred them for a few years in a row and then just stopped breeding them. They were just getting a little bit too hard to move. So I don't like to stop pairing my ass. That's right. Yeah, so I don't like, if I can't sell stuff, can't move it, I don't like to breed it. So when things get a little bit too difficult or there seems to be too much on the market, I just stop breeding them. But I've always liked the Roughies. So
yeah.
You got striped coastals was another one. Coastals I've been using for other projects in between time, and this year I thought, wouldn't mind getting a few more. Just you never know what happens. Like you lose animals. Anyone with a large collection would know. Whether you get tumours, you get egg bound, you get all sorts of issues during breeding season, complications. So it's always nice to have backups in reserve. So I haven't done striped coasters for a while. So
I have to add though that I always, the roughies were always, I don't know, there's something special about breeding a rough scale python.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just and it's even more special to get them feeding.
Yeah, there are sorts of things.
Yeah,
they are. But they're nice. They're just cool. Something different. I only ever kept my pair.
That's a species that Brent hasn't worked with. Why don't you have roughies? Don't you like them?
Too boring.
Oh, okay.
Brent's probably got albino roughies.
Working on something
No
special.
No one would be making those stupid hybrid crossed albino stupid things, surely, would they?
Do you want to see what a marble roughie looks like?
Oh, they have made rough scale python. I think rough scale python. I think they've done that carpet python, rough scale python.
Yeah, I'm sure they've done something with roughies overseas. Yeah,
I've seen that. Like they did a Boland's python, carpet python cross, and I just don't see the point.
I know there was a few. I know I sold some roughies, no names mentioned, but to a couple of people that were actually wanted to put chondros over them.
Yeah, I don't know what the result would be like.
So,
although they do seem to look nice, Jaguar carpondros or carpondros. Oh, I've seen some beautiful Jaguar.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of a hybrid now and then.
Oh yeah, no. Look at this guy down there. Yeah. There's a question from Michelle Rumler. Does using a shed from a different male placing with your pair work to encourage the boy? But Brent, what do you think? Have you ever used this?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I've done it for years, and something you told me long time ago, shove a shed into a bottle of water, like a spray bottle, and run it around and spray around in the tubs of other males too, just to get that scent flowing everywhere. But I still use sheds. I still take a male shed from other different pairings and break it up into little short pieces and throw it into all the other males' tubs, and they certainly take notice of it. You throw it in there, you'll see both the male and females will often go to that shed and have a good sniff over it. So it obviously registers there as something.
Sniffing, lots of sniffing going on this time of year. Yeah.
I do the same thing as well. I throw another male shed into another female's tub for them.
Yep.
Oh, Darren, I don't want to. I want to share I'm scared to share my computer because it's still doing that glitchy. We don't want any glitches. Darren Boswell sent me a photo of his rough scale pythons. I remember seeing him post a photo this week of rough scales mating. It's just a special species. I don't know what it is about roughies. Sorry, I'm still stuck on the rough scale python breeding in my head. It definitely is. It is something about them that's
they're unique.
Yeah, they just and I remember taking photos of the female coiled around, those photos I did with the white backgrounds. I took a photo of a female, and when you take the female off the clutch, it's actually got the little indentations of their rough scales. You can actually see how the scales have been printed onto the eggs because of those really rough textured scales of them. It's a fascinating species.
I wanted them ever since when Weigel first got them at the reptile park. Before they were even available for sale, we went up there. It must have been early 2000s. We went up there with one of the reptile websites at the time. I know it was APS or something or other. And he brought out a couple of roughies and got to have a hold and a play with them, and they were like cranky asshole things back then. But as soon as I held one, I was like, got to get some of these one day. And that's why I've kept them. Like, I'm not worried whether I breed them or not, to be honest. And that's why I haven't bothered for the last few years. It's just something that I wanted for myself. I just really, really like them. They're just different. Like you said, there's just something about them. Once you get hold of them, you feel them, and it's just like they're amazing. So
they seem to have had a dip as well. Like everything comes in ups and downs. It's like a wave in the industry. Where they were really popular at one stage when there was a little bit of money, but they tanked. They really. One of the few species that I saw that really tanked in price.
There was two factors. One, when John first released them, he bred truckloads of them, and they're not hard to breed. They're quite an easy species to breed. Yeah. So there was plenty of them around. But the second factor, and probably the more important one of the two, is the fact that there's still a Class 2 Class 2 license up in New South Wales. Yeah. So you're instantly restricted to a small proportion of keepers that actually have their Class 2 or Category 2, whatever it is now. So the ability to sell them was restricted by the amount of people that actually carried a license for them. This is, I think it's I don't know, 5 or 6% of all licensed keepers have a class 2 or something or other, or 10% or something. It's not much. So you had a oversupply of the market, and too many animals and not enough. Basically, there was heaps of people who wanted them, but, if you don't have a class 2 license, you can't get them. So, and that's what I found. I sold them slowly over a couple of years. I think I did 3 clutches for 3 seasons for like 12 to 15 sort eggs at a time.
Yeah.
And just as the next season was coming in, I'd sell my last couple of ones. And the last clutch I did, I kept back a pair, kept me adults. Someone wanted them adults, offered me good money for them because they wanted to do the chondro thing. So I sold them and just kept back the pair that I have here now. And I've had them for a couple of years, just sitting there enjoying them.
So I was just thinking of a topic that we could maybe talk about, and it's where do we think the market's heading at the moment? Because I've noticed so many guys, so many new breeders reading. There is literally, it feels like this year every post that I see, it's somebody that's got an incubator full of eggs, and I'm wondering what you guys have been around. You guys have been around for a while, especially and the three of you, especially have I seen, over the years, we've seen the market trending in certain directions, and I think we'll start at Brent and we'll work our way around with where you think the market is now. What are you experiencing during COVID, especially now, because there's people used to have money, and with the government assistance now, and whatever, I noticed I've noticed myself, like people were spending a lot when there was money being given out to stay at home, and now it's sort of slowed down a bit. What are you experiencing with sales at the moment, Brent? And you don't know, if you guys don't have to answer, but I think it's an interesting topic. Where do you think? What do you think's happening this year? I mean, especially when it comes to where the money is. Do you think this many reptiles? There's a place for. I mean, I really don't know if there's a market for the volumes that I'm seeing at the moment. Although we've seen the reptiles sell every year. If you're breeding the right stuff, things sell. What's your mindset at the moment? What are you gearing? Where are you heading at the moment, and where do you see the industry going at the moment, mate?
It's certainly always been supply and demand, and exactly like we talked about those Roughies 3 or 4 years ago when they bottomed out at $250 a snake and people could not sell them. People stopped breeding them, and that creates the next cycle of 3 to 4 years. There seems to be nothing around, and then all of a sudden we'll start to see everyone wants Roughies because everyone forgot about it. New people come in, haven't seen them, and suddenly prices I think can drive back up. I've certainly seen that with simple things as far as diamond pythons that used to be a diamond dozen everywhere. The last few years been none around, and everyone suddenly realised what a beautiful natural species they are, and everybody suddenly wants diamonds. I get messages for diamond pythons all the time. Don't even breed them. Have some, just never bother pairing them because at one stage you couldn't sell them for $100 a snake. And, you get having a clutch of 25 of them was going to take you a long time to try and move them on. So I still think it's all about the mix. It's the right, if you make the right animals that the market's looking for, I think they'll always sell. Good quality stuff, I think, will always sell, and not volumes of anything. Like I try to spread a very wide variety of animals. Although I might make 200 hatches a year, it might be spread over 30 different morphs. So I don't have more than 2, 3, 4, 5 of something that might not sell. So you don't have 10 of anything to sell. So that's my game plan, and it's worked for me from day dot. I've always had variety to keep numbers down.
Marty, what do you see? What's your thoughts on the industry at the moment, especially when it comes to what Brent said? Well, where are you heading, and what's your thoughts at the moment?
Obviously, I can speak only on behalf of Antaresia because that's all I breed. I think probably everyone could admit that they've seen a shift in the way that people treat Antaresia now. I think they're becoming really popular. With that, obviously, we always talk about the marble mutation. Mate, that's different. Albino Max, they're still beautiful. Like Colin Ray's line stimmies, they're amazing. The platinums.
Beautiful.
There's a lot to do and push with the Antaresia. And I think being a smaller species or smaller animal, they're just more attractive. I personally don't keep carpets anymore because they were just a big snake. And everyone was ahead of me. I was never going to catch the Brents and, the Roughies and the Darrens. So, yeah,
Scared of the bite.
I played with the one.
He's not used to handling a big snake. That's all.
I know you're used to receiving one.
Marty, but I've been thinking for years the marble gene's on the cusp of collapsing, and but every year it seems to like just the guys are just, if you're working with a good selection, like marbles keep surprising me. Like what you can do with them, it's unreal. Look at this guy. So I have to show off now a little bit. Look at him.
I mean, if you're popping out,
he's got this little snake again. Yeah, there we go.
So you've got, I don't know if you can see, you've got these guys that are.
Hold on, I'm going to put you big. I'm going to make you big. Hang on, there, so you can show.
How could you not love?
Yeah,
the marble gene.
Yeah.
And then.
That white one's a cracker. Yeah.
And then you've got, obviously, I'm now mixing marble into other species with. Like this one's very orange. That's that orange one that you can't really see. There's just lots going on with that marble gene. Then they're small, cool snakes.
And that's one species. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you see stuff like that you go, that's why I think, the carpets are great because there's so much but just look at I don't know. I think the marbles. I can't think that they won't be a staple in the industry moving forward. Do you work with marbles as well, Darren? Or you don't work with as refined lines as that, though?
No, not as many. I should have had, last year, as you know, I lost a lot of clutches, and I've got a whole pile back here of like T plus marbles. So I think I lost 5 clutches last season because I was away. They all laid on heat cords and stuff, and basically by the time I got back from being away for 3 months, they were all cooked. So yeah, there's heaps, like Marty said. I think Antaresia got a huge future. There's so many cool morphs out there now, and I know Marty's got a few. You're starting to see T plus granites. When we start to see albino granites and granite marbles and albino marbles, and there's so many combinations out there that haven't popped up yet. I'm probably sure, and Marty can probably allude, probably working on stuff like that. So I reckon it's great. I've always loved Antaresia. The second lot of snakes I ever bought, first was a diamond python, the next lot were blonde max, and that was back in might have been 2000 or something or other, and I've had them ever since. So yeah, I love it. I like all snakes. That's my biggest problem. I
guess it's like I spoke to Brent this week. You have to. We're at the point now where breeders have to go laser focused in on the stuff that they want to make their own. Like we started with a marble gene, okay, and everybody chased the marble gene, and everybody made marbles that looked the same. And then some guys started to focus really on the white stuff, and then the yellow stuff and stuff. And to get yourself into a position where you make a niche market for yourself is like you, Darren, with even the silver peppers. You guys made the silver peppers, and this is now just my opinion. You guys made the silver peppers. Everybody chased the silver pepper, and now we're at a point now where you sit with those reduced pattern silver peppers, but that gives you a niche market, so you can refine that. And people, you don't need to sell what everybody else sells. You sell stuff that's unique to you, and that keeps the dollar value up. So you don't need this, like remember we spoke about it this week, Brent. You don't need the size collection. You don't need everything to make the same amount of money. You can have less, especially when you're doing it on the scale where you guys, that doesn't cost you nothing to look after that many animals. I mean, you need to make some money back to be able to afford the outlay that you've got for the animals. But I really think that's where it's heading at the moment. You have to make stuff. And this is where I guess the artistry in the reptile breeding comes into it. You have to make stuff that nobody else. You have to think outside the box and start working on stuff that might not give dividends now, but 10 years down the line, you've got stuff that only you have.
Yeah, a lot of people leave the polygenics out of it too. It's just the side of it that needs to be considered when you're pairing for 10 years down the track. Sorry, go on, Marty.
No, you're actually spot on. I don't really have a lot of polygenic. Like I see a lot of locales people work with, and I think that changes the look of obviously different mutations in itself. Brent, I know that you're working with a few Antaresia because you can't keep away and you see which way I'm going, so you just want to try and catch me. You're a little closet ant keeper, aren't you? A little closet man, little closet boy.
Everyone has their secrets, mate, and until you do fans online like Aiden, and then everyone knows. So
Brent's probably got the biggest granite mac. That big female, it's probably got the biggest granite mac that I've seen in my life. That big female you showed a video of one, I couldn't believe how big that snake was. It's a big snake.
Beautiful.
What were you saying, Marty? Go, Marty.
No, I was just going to say this year I'm working. What I've paired up this year, 100% triple hets. So they're all pretty decent sized girls. So we'll see what pops out of that. Double het marble granites.
What are you triple het? Yeah, sorry.
Triple hets I've got. Hang on a second. Marble, T plus children's, T plus stimmy. Albino, marble, T plus children's. Oh, there's probably more. I can't remember. There's a couple of different triple hets there.
Sorry, I'm just getting my water bottle sent to me because I feel a little bit parched at the moment.
No, that's right.
I do think that the Antaresias, I can't think that I think they're heading in the right direction. I didn't think that a few years back, but with the marble, I thought when we didn't know much about the marble mutation, I thought, okay, here's another one that, this is just how good they can get. And now you see the stuff that the guys are making, like that little orange one that you made last season, Marty.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Very nice.
They're POS T plus. So hopefully pop out for a few more this year. They're growing well. That was one I grabbed out before, but the color didn't really come through on the screen. But they're progressing well. We'll see if the triple hets give me some good odds. Last year I didn't really have good odds, so we'll see what happens.
When you say plus T plus, that's is that the children T plus, and is that the Dave Evans T plus?
Yeah, Evans.
They're different, aren't they?
Yeah, they're completely different. Yeah, so they're not on the same allele.
Yeah, because Colin Ray, I think talking about Colin Ray, I think he said his T plus and the children's T plus are the same.
Yeah, they're compatible. So he's popped out a couple of what do you call that? I don't know if you call it a double visual, so to speak, but he's produced some beautiful snakes out of that, visual animals. Dave's line, I've got different looking Dave line because they're mixed now.
Yeah.
The hatches from last season come out. 4 of them came out looking the same, and then 1 came out different. So I don't know if that's a double T plus or if it's just actually a variation. So
very hard to work out.
I may have popped out a marble granite as well, but that's something. Manisa saw that originally when it was a hatchie. And it wasn't feed. It was actually on death's row. I sent it to Colin Ray. I left it in Melbourne because Colin could focus on me and focus on it and help me out. And now it's smashing it. So I'll get that back soon. And,
it's hard to figure something out if it hasn't been made yet. It's like Darren.
Tell me about it.
You look at it and you go, I don't know.
Is it not? Yeah.
I don't know. Is it the same? Especially when it's subtle. It's very subtle, especially with stuff that changes colors over time.
Every shed's a gamble.
Yeah,
it's exciting as well. So, but yeah, as everyone was just said, the Antaresia, I think for any age keeper or experience, I think they're pretty good. They're going pretty. Dave Evans, can't forget Dave Evans and what he does for the hobby. He doesn't love the social media side of things, but he's
I feel his pain.
What's that?
I feel his pain. I'm not a fan of social media.
But you got a good head for radio though, Darren.
Yeah, I know, it's a beautiful head for radio.
But it unfortunately, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't interact with social media. I know I hammer it a lot, and I think that's something where all three of you are lacking is the consistency with how you post. And I don't want to be preachy on a Sunday, but that you could. The secret these days is to be interactive with social media. And not just post it, you need to post content that brings the people back and be consistent. So if somebody goes on your Facebook page they need to know that around 7 o'clock every night there'll be when they get when they want to go back to your page every night to go and have a look if you posted something new. And it is the magic sauce these days. You have to do it, you know, because people see your page less and less in their feed if you don't post consistently. That's just how it works.
And if they don't engage with it, it just drops out of the algorithm. So, and
Yep.
I certainly notice that with things I follow on social media, YouTube channels, certain guys, you get to know what days they put out videos, and you look forward to the stuff that you're into coming out. So I gather where people want content, but it's all a time game, I guess.
Yeah, and it's
also it's a money game too, because as you know, we spoke about my Reptilio account. 3,000 followers, but no one sees it.
It's about 10, I think about 7% of your page, and I think Facebook keeps adjusting it, and it depends on how you behave on your Facebook profile. Like with me, like I share a lot of conservative, I say a lot of politics, and now Facebook's clamping down on it, and you just don't see stuff on my wall anymore. But then I go to my other Facebook page and I post from there, and I still get the same amount of interaction from people because Facebook doesn't like there's no history there of sharing political viewed posts. So it's important to keep. I mean, this sounds like
your MAGA hat's been.
What's that?
Your MAGA hat.
It's up there. I've got the MAGA hat. But you need to be consistently engaged on social media, and it's like it's stuff that you three do really well though. Is you respond to people that post comments, even if it's to say thanks and stuff like that. A lot of people just leave. People respond and just leave. They don't respond to comments on their things, and it's the engagement that gets you the views on your page. And sorry if this is totally not reptile related, but I think this is a big part of being a breeder these days. Is social media is a very useful tool to get your name out of there. It's a platform that never used to exist 10 years ago. You used to just go by phone calls and text messages to see if somebody's got something for sale. Nowadays, social media is it's a window through which people can see into your collection and go, oh, I want to deal with this guy when I get my next snake. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, 100%.
Who sells snakes by phone calls anymore? You guys. I've sold one snake by phone call in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy. I always find it amazing. People are happy to message, send money, and here's your freight airway bill number or meet at this point and drop off. I just find it still amazing. People don't want to talk to anybody. Just here's the money, send the snake.
Yeah, but that also, Brent, comes down to reputation too. I'm happy to give my money to you when you pay.
Thanks, I'll take it too.
You can have my.
Can I have some as well?
I want your OnlyFans account, mate. But
I'm just waiting about that.
OnlyFans thing. This sounds interesting to me. But I don't know what that is.
Hayden Dempsey's setting them all up.
Quick Google search will unravel that for you.
Okay, mate. Okay.
That's where I think reputation comes into it. If you've got a good enough reputation, you work hard to keep a good reputation, I mean, people won't hesitate to spend the money and actually trust you to send the animals. And as we all know, it's hard to get a good reputation, but it's easy to get a bad one.
Oh,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So, back on to OnlyFans. Okay, so guys are coming out with something new.
Let's see if there's anything happening in the chat. People aren't asking too many questions. Oh, here we go, Darren Boswell. The downside of posting a photo of something nice, though, is all the messages just say how much when you aren't even offering it for sale, just showing what you have produced. I mean, I guess that's the other side of it as well. You post something. It's not that bad anymore, though. In the early days, when we started selling reptiles on Facebook, you did get a lot of that. I don't see that. I don't see people saying how much like I used to in the past. I mean, what do you think, Darren?
Yeah, there's definitely less of it because of the fact that you can't sell on Facebook anymore. I think that's reduced it. However, it's still there. I noticed today on some picture I put up, I was going through my notifications and someone made a comment and it was PM me. I'm like, hey, PM you for what? Like, if you want to know something, flick me a message. Like, right click up there, message seller or whatever it is, or message the person. You have to
chase them for the sale.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
if that, like, I'm happy to help anyone. Like, I get a lot of people message me, and I assume you guys are all the same. And I don't mind if people want to ask questions and listen and learn and stuff. And I'll talk shit all day long, as you know. And the same with messaging. You know, I was chatting to Scotty Reed last night and a couple other guys, and just messaging general stuff. But the sales side of thing and the way people message,
Or do they do the PM me, and if you don't get back to them within 5 minutes, they send you a question mark.
5 minutes, you give them credit.
The classic
that
question
is
mark.
like question mark.
No deal. Yeah, and then they just go straight into the block list. You know,
I got one the other day. Any yearlings available? That was it. Any yearlings available? I'm like, yearling what?
Yeah.
And then it was more specific.
Any yearlings, Darren, don't you know? Any.
Yeah.
Any.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go through and write a list out. Like, I think the common courtesy, like just, hey, mate, how you going? Or, hi, I'm interested in this. Do you have this available or that? But, like, it seems to be the less you write is becoming more common now. And I'm like,
yeah,
you know, you expect me, like, they ask you a question. Do you want me to give you the yes answer or, you know, a bit of detail in the answer? You know, do you have this available? Yes.
I think Marty, the first time I saw Marty post, first time I had an interaction with Marty was when he had a photo with like a photo on one of the classifieds pages with like his hand full of money like this and
Snakes
I go, yeah, got cash. What do you got?
Well, he's standing there and he's throwing the money at
listen,
message me with what you've got. Yeah,
the first time you saw me was when I was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, with a shiny head in the lights. Did you have hair still then?
No, they put makeup on it though. They had to actually covered it in makeup.
The powder, so you don't get the glare on it. Yeah,
that'd be a standard Friday night for you, wouldn't it? Bit of makeup on out in the corner.
Not anymore.
COVID. It's all on his MySpace page.
Emma says,
Brent, did he just say MySpace?
Whatever it is. What is it? I don't even know.
MySpace.
Wow. MySpace was like when Darren was a kid. Just before Facebook became real.
I don't even know what it is. What are they calling it now?
Are you the real Napster?
Oh, that's going back. That's going back ages now. Oh my goodness. There'd be people in this crowd that wouldn't know what we're talking about. We'd be talking Braille to them. Emma says another favorite of theirs is hi.
He's high.
I want a carpet python. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. A lot of classic sayings in the so what's proper? So let's talk about proper etiquette for contacting a breeder. So Brent, how would you like? What do you think is a good way to approach, or if somebody's interested in a reptile breeder in buying a snake from you? Normally, I see you guys are utilizing the good old Aussie reptile classifieds. Now is it Aussie reptile classifieds? Yeah, Australian reptile classifieds.
It's called Reptiles classifieds.
Yeah, Andy's page. So for anybody that's looking for, because Facebook stopped, and therefore just for all the newbies, you know, you're not allowed to sell reptiles on Facebook because they used to scrap pages completely. I know so many crybabies that had their pages removed because they kept selling on there, and even people even got their pages deleted that were selling in messages. So I just want to put it out there. Just be careful. I'm not saying anybody's doing it around here. Just be careful because they do pick up stuff in messages. So if you're looking for a good-looking snake, for a reputable breeder, go and look. There's also some questionable breeders, but Reptile Classifieds Australia, I don't know what happened there. Oh, Marty dropped out. Hang on. If you're looking for a snake, Reptile Classifieds Australia. Oh, we've stopped there. Oh, did we stop around? No, they're selling in the same place. So go and check it out. Reptile Classifieds Australia. So Brent, if somebody, so what's the normal routine that people? What do you think? What's the best way to approach? Let's say you. When you're interested in a snake, what do you think is good reptile buying etiquette? Is it etiquette? Am I saying it right? I think so.
Yep, it is, and it's just basic human being manners. You know, a simple hi, how are you? Hope you're well. Whatever. Like it's a bit of chit chat, but it goes very differently to when people just say, "Got any albinos?" You know, like I'm just like, "Yeah, man, I got eggs, thanks." You know, like it really is frustrating sometimes when you get a lot of messages and people are just quite rude, I guess. But I guess a lot of the younger people, that's just how they text. That's just how they message everything. There's no, hi, how are you? I've been looking for this. I'm chasing, and try and be a little bit specific. I'm looking for a purebred albino Darwin, or I'm looking for can take a mixed bed. A little bit of detail. Like recently, for the first time in ever, I put up too many ads on reptile classifieds in one day due to boredom in lockdown. Said, I'm just going to put every snake that I've got for sale on reptile classifieds. Yeah. So I took photos of all this side and got to about 50 ads up, and the phone had erupted. I just can't believe how much traction that web page has got of messages and messages and messages. And I had to stop. I had to say, wow, that's it. And for the next 2 weeks, did sell some snakes, but unbelievable feedback of how many people actually go to that website looking for animals. So good plug to Shaggy. What's your name? Shandy? Shaggy. It was a very, very effective process running through that. But yeah, just be nice. Ask questions. If you want more info, ask for more info. I'm all fine with giving more pictures and all the info you want. But then just a simple thank you. If you don't want the snake, I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'm not dying for you to buy that particular animal. I'm really not chasing anybody for a sale. So if you don't want it, that's cool. And just say, thank you. It's not what I'm after. See you later. Or just say, thanks for the pictures. Yeah. That's cool. I guess I come home from work at 7 o'clock at night, and I wouldn't say every night, but at least 2 or 3 nights a week, I come out here, I'll pull animals out, take photos, take video, to check, records for people, to give them all sorts of the info that they love, and send all that to them. That's my family time I give up for half an hour, 45 minutes every night, and sometimes just not even a reply. They're just gone. I'm like, cool, no worries. That's helpful to know next time you get that message. So.
Well, I guess that is the most annoying part of the whole thing is when they just go radio silent. After you do all of that stuff, it's easier to just say, look, thank you for helping me out. It's not what I'm looking for. And then you go, okay, and you're not hanging there going, is he still interested or whatever, and it's exactly what you said, Brent. Like reptile breeders should get past that point where they are desperate for a sale. And that's what I'm always worried about, is that people breed that many snakes that they then get desperate, and then in that same process they that's when they start lowering prices. They dump, they're trying to just offload, and I think that's where a lot of this bad manners come from, is because a lot of reptile breeders become desperate when they're sitting with 500 bearded dragons in their shelf that they can't move. Adi, what do you think is what's your thoughts about reptile etiquette when people?
I'm sure every breeder experiences it all the time. Basically exactly the same as Brent. Just introduce yourself, say, hi, I've been looking for this, and do you have anything available? That's simple as that, because it is our family time. Like during the day, I get told off if I'm on the phone, which is probably all the time. And then coming home, I've got the wife riding me. Not physically, just actually emotionally. Just she's on me back. She's on me back flat out about the kids, And then if you get messages, you want to reply, but understand that maybe we don't get back to you straight away. In regards to pricing too, like my biggest pet hate is seeing bred too many animals, not the whole clutch not feeding, message for a deal or something like that. Because obviously we all spend time getting our animals feeding. And then other breeders just want to sell them straight out of the egg, and then you end up getting messages on asking how to get these snakes feeding when you didn't even sell them the animals.
Yeah,
plenty of those.
And Darren, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Same thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be a detailed message. Hey, how's it going? Saw you had these. Got any available? Like price note aside, if you're looking for an animal, surely you have an idea of what you want. Like, you want to get a snake. I mean, my train of thought is if I want to get a snake, even when I first got into it, I read books, I looked at things and found what I was interested in, and then I went chasing that particular species. I don't get it how people just go, got anything available. Like, surely there's something you want. Have you seen a marble children's? Have you seen a silver pepper? Have you seen an albino Darwin? Have you seen a bredli? Like, surely you've seen something that sparked your interest that you want to get a hold of. So to have something specific or along the lines of what you're interested in, rather than a carpet python or an Antaresia. I mean, there's, okay, you're interested in Antaresia, let's go through the list. Which one do you want? So I think having that, and just hey, how's it going? Interested in getting a blonde Mac? Do you breed these? Simple, Hey mate, how's it going? Yeah, nah, sorry, or yeah, I do, or I don't know. But if you contact Marty, you'll know he's got some, or he's got this, or Faye or Colin or whatever. Like it's.
But I'm surprised that, I'm quite surprised how often that happens, though. Like referring something, like I had somebody at work, a contact, asked me about a reptile, and then I said to her, look, she's like, oh, I'm not sure what, and I sort of said, okay, well, look, a good first snake would be something like a Murray. Like I like Murray darlings. I think it's a good snake. I've met very few Murrays that bite, when they're young. I've actually never seen a Murray that bites when they're young. I'm sure Darren would have stuff that bites, but they're much more relaxed. So I put them onto Brent, and Brent, Brent ended up knocking that onto Colin Ray, and I think there's a lot of, I don't think any of us are in the industry to try and, like if we can't help somebody, we're not going to send them to somebody that's not going to, we all stick to sort of to each other. So if it's not maybe a sale for you, you're not gonna spoil a sale just because you'd rather send it to Brent, or I like
Brent
the way the guys operate. Some of the top guys,
Well, Brent sent someone to me, and I actually couldn't help him, so I sent him to Colin Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I forward on to everybody. Like you generally do try and help people. Like it's pointless. People always say, "Oh, can you put me on your waiting list for next year?" The number of snakes I've sold from a waiting list, like ever. So I just say to them, look, go see Darren Whitaker, go see Faye, go see, Shaggy, go Marty, whoever that I think might have what they're after, send them to them and they get a snake. No one waits a year to get a snake, like it's if people want the thing, they want it now. No, I do. I just don't bother filling it in.
I did for about 2 years the waiting list thing, and used to list people's contact details, the whole thing, and exactly the same as you, Brent. I sold zero to any of those people, and it's because they message you now. You put up a photo of something mating, and it's going to be 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months before they actually come on the market to sell. Ovulation and incubation and feeding and all that sort of stuff. And by the time you go, oh, yeah, okay, now I've got some of these, striped coastals, for example, for sale, I'll message the 4 people that want to buy some. Oh, nah, mate, I found one somewhere else. Oh, I found this something else. Some don't even bother replying at all. So
they're into turtles now and they've moved on.
Yeah, so people that message me that, my standard response is, no, sorry, mate, don't keep a list. If you're interested, best thing to do is contact me come December, January. By then, if you've got stuff gravid, you're not so far off laying, or if you've got stuff cooking, you've got a better idea where along in that process you have and how far before you're going to have those hatchies, available. And at that point you can say, yeah, man, look, I've got a clutch cooking. They're due to hatch in 3 weeks. Flick me a message in 3 weeks. I'll let you know where I'm at, and you can go from there. But I don't try that whole chasing and taking that. And the other thing that gets me is people that take deposits for clutches that aren't even laid.
Oh,
I get people asking.
Especially the guys that start posting photos of their snakes mating in March or early
taking
deposit for something in February. Okay. Emma says something that I think Emma Dixon says, I think buyers should be doing adequate research on species, husbandry, and adult size. If you haven't done that, I think they shouldn't be surprised when they are told to go and do more research. We care about our animals' well-being in their new homes, also as you guys are too. So I mean that's a very good point. When I was doing lots of reptiles, I declined sales if I spoke to somebody and I felt like this person should not be keeping a reptile, then I would just say, look, mate, I don't think I'm the right guy to help you with that animal. And I think the majority of you guys would be the same. I hate selling something and then seeing photos down the line of that animal being neglected, or a turd will always show itself later on down the line. There'd be the same guy that would come back and say it's not eating because he's walking around with it outside, since
Oh,
it's the same. You can get that gut feeling if somebody is just going to be an issue further down the line. I avoided stuff like that, like the plague.
If it's too hard before you've even sold them an animal, then you know what's coming after you've sold them an animal. Like there's some basic questions you work out very quickly what type of buyer you're dealing with. So.
Yeah. Benjamin Maurice. I haven't seen Benjamin Maurice on here before. Yeah, thanks for contributing, mate. He said,
hello, Ben. Hello, Ben.
Ben. Okay. He said that is the reason why I set up a website, so I could direct a lot of those got any snake type to questions to the website. I mean, that's another option. If you've got something together with some information, you can always say, look, I used to do that with the beardies, because bearded dragons, even though it's a common animal, beardies can be very technical to keep for a first-time keeper, because they need different things to keep them healthy than a snake. And it's always good if you've got a website set up with a good amount of information on there, like a good care sheet, good breeding, breeding information. Then that's usually a good way to send somebody there first and say, look, before we take this further, go to my website. Here's a link to the page with husbandry. Go read through that and then come back to me and tell me if you're still interested. And then if a person then gets offended because you don't want to sit there and type out all the nitty-gritty to them, then they can go and buy the animal somewhere else. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's how I feel about it. If they're not willing to do the basic research, then they shouldn't have a reptile. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I actually put a ton. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
No, I'm just in agreement, 100%.
No, I'm just, as far as the website, I put a stack of info on my website for care and housing and feeding and all sorts of information. Send a lot of people to it, and then quite often people come back to me to ask questions that are on the website. So I found I had too much detailed information on there, and I've actually cut back the information to make it more precise, shorter answers, because people just don't want to read. Some people, it's not everyone's thing. Not everyone wants to grab a book. If I'm into something new, I'll get books, I'll search the internet, I'll talk to people and get deep down into that thing. And I want to know everything about it before I take the first step, trying to avoid all the early mistakes that people make when they get into something. So some people just don't want to read much. So I made the information clear, concise, as short as possible so they can get basic info. If they need more info, message me. I'm happy to help people get through it.
I guess that's why TikTok and Facebook Reels and stuff, it's all like 15 seconds. If anything's longer than 15 seconds these days.
That's why Marty's king now. 15-second master.
And that's on a good night.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're back on this again. Oh, yeah. Hey, Manish, how about we just go to Brent's website and cut and paste his info? We'll just put it into my website.
Oh,
sure, go ahead.
We can see if that could work with no. I don't think he's got anything about enteresias in there.
Keeping, breeding, all the same.
Same, mate. Just the size. The carpets are a bit of more of a man snake. Enteresia's a bit more of a girl snake. That's all.
Hey, used to be
I've been saying that for a while now. Like a video format now is it is the way to go. Like, if you can strap a GoPro on, and I don't think a lot of people don't even know it. You can live stream from a GoPro.
You tried that with your strap-ons, mate?
I told you, OnlyFans, you have to pay to see.
It's pick on Marty, huh? Pick on Marty today. Yeah, well, that's what happens.
Well, I'm revolving.
Yeah. Well, that's as simple as nowadays.
Take out there.
I nearly come out with something really bad. I'm like, hey.
I'm trying to get the show going again. You guys are still getting to go to there. So, I'm
GoPro strapped to your head, strapped to the snake or the head?
You strap a GoPro to your forehead. You go to the snake room, and while you guys are out there, you do a live stream while you're feeding your stuff. While like Darren, I can imagine Darren's like,
is that how they make those videos?
Something, whatever. You can do all that these days, and be interactive with people on your. I'm probably giving a bunch of people ideas as well, But this is the way to go now. Then you can say, I did a video, go and make a little video for somebody, and stick it on the internet, and then you cover a lot of bases already like that. So I'm just
trying to make us do more work. Jesus.
Yeah.
Or less. Work. It depends on how you look at it. What are you saying, Marty?
Speaking of Benjamin Morris, who's tried tail travel to send their animals?
Oh, I saw that. I saw them.
That's my go-to tail travel guys. So in trust in Ben, and it's great service, and he's been really good for me. And I know a couple of other guys are using him. So
Who's this now? What's his name?
Benjamin Morris. So look at tail travel.
Okay. So yeah, that's him commenting on the things there. So let me say, Ben, put your link to your page or your contact details in the post, so we can. I'll pop up the chat here so people can find you if you want to do that. I know that people are looking for transport, for the ways to transport the animals. Now, I'm assuming Qantas Air is down again as well. Oh, Marty's gone as well.
I'm not sure if Qantas is actually out, but I think like for people like in Sydney, I can't travel to the airport to lodge animals anyway. I can't drive 50 k's on the reason I'm sending an animal. So I guess technically, in many areas, people wouldn't be able to be using Qantas, although I believe Qantas themselves are still operational.
Oh, okay. But they can use a third party to go and collect the animals and deliver them to your house, basically.
Well, because they're a courier, I suppose.
I guess so. If you want to use, feathers and scales, their door-to-door service where they'll pick it up and lodge it for you and send it to the other end. Yeah, there's probably options out there. There's quite a few now popping up because of people are a little bit hesitant with Qantas at the moment. Everyone assumes that it's not happening. So there's quite a few of these little pet delivery services popping up, and a few of them doing a very good job too. So there'll be some good alternatives to Qantas going forward.
What are you doing, Marty?
Oh, I did nothing. I just dropped out. What happened to me? You guys booted me.
No. We don't do that to you, to the nice guys. Like
went dark. We thought you were looking for your GoPro.
What you had to go do a wee.
It just dropped out. Sorry, so I missed what you were saying, Brent. So we're talking about obviously a bit of courier action.
Yeah. So Benjamin Morris, is it Benjamin Morris? Yeah. He said there, tail travel is a Qantas booking agent. So yeah, use a booking agent. I mean,
you have to use a booking
I wish
agent.
they were around.
Yep.
6-7 years ago when I was doing reptiles, man, I used to hate going to the airport.
No,
I don't know about you guys. Do you love going to the airport or hate it?
No.
Well,
3.5 hour round trip for me. I don't like going. Yeah, it's a long way. People also, I get a little frustrated that I try to freight once a month. When freight's normal, but it's such a huge. It's half a day on a Sunday for me, so it's frustrating.
Oh, here's a question.
Let alone the cost of tolls in Sydney. I think it cost me. It would cost me over probably close to $30, I reckon now.
Yep.
With the toll prices, just to drive to and from the airport, not including petrol, not including the freight, not including the container and export permits and all the other bullshit that goes with it, just for tolls.
Lucky every snake you sell is $20,000. Does it's a big.
What are you talking about, Darren? Huh? Oh,
jeez, I wish. That's how much the ghost pepper is for you, pal.
Here's a question for Marty Bahasha.
I'll pick that one up, mate. You won't have to freight it.
You got to be able to breed that.
Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer that?
Taking yours.
Oh, these are still out of control here today. Marty, let's just ask this. So, Brett Moy, hello, Brett. I noticed you popped up earlier. Reptile question: the ghost gene.
Two different things.
Same, or is it different between Antaresia and Morelia? We'll start with you, Marty. What do you think? And you can be discreet. What do you think?
I don't believe in this ghost gene personally. I don't know anything about it, but what I've seen is nothing.
In Antaresia, you're talking about?
Antaresia?
Yeah, in Antaresia.
The ghosting carpets is caramel / hypoxanthic, so it's a completely different thing. Ghost in Antaresia, I think they were originally remember that polygenic. Originally, I think Anthony Stimson was the first to pop up with some. I know Peter Birch put quite a bit of effort into them. I had some myself a number of years ago, and it's just they were just more a colour changing thing. Like in Roughies, anyone that's had Roughies, they'll go get a silvery tinge to them at times. And back then, I don't know, 15 years ago, I suppose. They did all sorts of work with them and improved them out to polygenic. But then a whole heap of other people got them and bred them one to go, oh, no, it's incomplete dominant because of this or because of that, but with zero backing between them. So people were then trying to sell T plus ghosts as a double gene animal. And
I don't know how
No.
a mutation can. You don't know what you've got until it's a year or two old to say,
Yeah.
oh, it's now a ghost. I don't get it. So
I always thought it was an age-induced color change. Like like how the chondros go through that polygenic color change or ontogenic color change. I thought that was something in Antaresia that when they hit a certain age or a certain, I mean, probably not even a certain. When they reach a certain point, they start changing that color and they go like that.
no, the ants are different. The original ghost ants would just. I don't know how you describe it. I don't understand it. How they do it, but they can be quite dark during the day, and at night time they'd be a silvery color. So they'd be almost be look. I've probably had photos or anything somewhere or other from many years ago, but it was almost looking at two different snakes. The colors between the two, same tone, but obviously one's much darker version of the other one. I've actually seen the same thing in silver peppers, and which I had photos of. They might even be on Really by Design somewhere. And so they got the name Ghost because they would do this ghosting in appearance.
Yeah.
So they would go from being dark, and at night time you go in there, and whether it's, I don't know, whether they're just happy and relaxed, and they're just chilling, they're all good, they'd just be a much paler, silvery type tone. And that was the only difference, would be that visual appearance. You breed them with anything, and it's just a polygenic thing. You'd need a ghost to put with another ghost to obviously make more ghosts, so to speak. But it was just the name given because of what they did. What the actual cause of it is, beyond me, I don't know. I don't understand how it works. I've heard of all sorts of theories, But
I've no questions though that it could add, that polygenic variation could add something new to a specific line though, Marty. They
we're
definitely
discussing
change the colors, the final visual animal.
That's no different to locales. I mean, a different color snake gives different mutations, different appearances. It's something I just don't work with. I don't know whether it's marketing. I don't know whether it's real. I don't know. It's not something that I've invested in because I don't find it.
That's not my path. It's not a genetic thing. It's just a polygenic thing. So
it wasn't Damien Hyde. Damien Hyde did a bit of work with that stuff, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, he got a pair off. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was Stimo and bred them once, and that was at the time when Damien was, coming to fruition. Let's call it. Bred them once and goes, I've bred them once. I got this variation in clutch. They're incomplete dominant. I'm like, Stimo's been breeding them for years. Peter Birch had done many years of work with them, same as he's done with Platinums and stuff like that. And they had both come to the conclusion they're polygenic. And, someone breeds them for one season. It's incomplete dominant. It's like, even me proving our peppers, it took years. I wanted to make sure I was 100% correct in what I was doing. You can't do that shit with one clutch.
Yeah, but I think someone's saying they're actually recessive as well now. I think that you can get het ghosts, if I understand correctly. But
Darren, but you had all the best of luck with the silver pepper stuff, didn't you? You just had the best run with the early.
I wouldn't say it was
everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Oh, I was going to say it was almost a mutation lost to the wind. Very, very close. Yeah, very close. Very
so
lucky.
we don't. So to answer Brett Moyes, so condense it for us, Marty. The Brett Moyes question. So what do you think it is? It's something that's polygenic, yeah.
Well, Darren has obviously worked with it, so he's answered probably the best. I have no idea. It's not something, as I said, not something that I find. I don't know. It's not. No comment.
But in saying that, it's something that if you refine that and put it into something else, and you can stabilize that polygenic trait, it's something that could give you a different result in the final visual animals. When with recessive traits and stuff like that.
It's got to help if you've got a different animal that you're working with, obviously that it's going to change the outcome somewhere down the track, whether or not you sell it as a recessive or a marketing thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not.
It certainly shouldn't be, I think, sold or marketed as something genetic, though. You quite often see people include it in the gene pool of an animal where people need to understand what they're buying.
Yeah.
I think that you've hit it on the head. I don't think it should be labelled as that, a part of a triple gene animal or het for something. That's my opinion, but
agreed. Especially with that name too, because when you look at a ghost in every other form, it's caramel / hypo exanthic. You know what I mean? Like that's where the ghost name comes from. So I can see where people, and we can go back to the hypo debate, which you won't go to, but when you give something a name such as ghost, you'd automatically think, oh, ghost Antaresia, wow, is that a hypoexanthic children's? Or caramel exanthic children's.
It's a fair question, but yeah, as you just said, it's completely different to the carpet side of things. So.
Let's have a look at the can we just say hello to Faye Antaresia, please, Guy?
Hi, Faye.
And Queen herself.
Hello, Faye.
Make her day. I wonder, are they in lockdown where Faye is or not?
Nah, they're safe. She's in Wollongong, so she's away from the riffraff of Sydney.
Yeah. So when are you guys? So Darren, you went for. So let's just talk about other stuff a little bit. So Darren, you went for your first vaccine the other day. Maybe we get promoted. Maybe we get this video out to more people if we mention the vaccines. So you got your first vaccine. Any except for the hair loss? Is there any other negative?
It's a bit like getting a tetanus shot. That'll be painful at the site, but headache and a few joint aches and pains and everything. Which they tell you it's part of getting the COVID shot, and actually say your second one is actually worse. So they say by the time you get the second one, but I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, you just have to look at some of the stuff on social media, the anti-vaxxers and the non-believers and stuff. My wife works with a guy that, doesn't believe it's all just a conspiracy and it's all bullshit. I'm like, go tell that to the dead people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to risk going out and getting it, and then passing on to my parents that are in their 80s. You know what I mean? Like, it's a death sentence for old people, especially this Delta strain that's going around. So, no, got mine and booked in 3 weeks to get shot number 2. It is what it is.
We just can't get rid of this Aiden there. There's like this is very, this whole rooster support thing is very contentious as well, isn't it, Brent? Aiden just can't.
They're always haters for success,
I don't support the roosters.
It's just going off. It's got like, what's going on here? Yeah,
it's just Aiden. His mouth never stops.
Yeah, he's got a whole new theory on genetics and how they work.
Yeah, he's actually developed a new het for super zebra gene that's going to be released to the market sometime shortly.
Het for super zebra. Okay.
It's a form of sort of a super caramel, but it's het for super zebra. So
wouldn't that just be zebra over zebra?
Don't simplify things, Marty. Don't simplify things.
Yeah.
If you'd like to know more, message Aiden directly again. Aiden will be happy to answer all questions on het for super zebra.
He's got a degree in reptile genetics.
Oh yes. There's lots of people.
It's a varying degree. It's a very low degree.
Come now. We're pushing. We want to pull people in. We don't want to push them away. Sorry, Ben Cooper reckons it's reptile chat. We're talking about this shit. Yeah. Well, give us a question, Ben. Shoot us a question. What do you need to know? Ask a question. If you've got some, if there's something that you need to know about a breeding or whatever, genetics. We'll try and do our best with our low degree of genetics degrees that we've got, so
we couldn't get rid of Aiden if we tried, though.
What's that?
Problem. We couldn't get rid of Aiden if we tried. There's no way you could repel him long enough.
And every group has to have a hater. So I mean, we need them as well. I've got my fair share of haters in my life, so that's good.
Ben's a good bloke. He's a good bloke.
Yeah. No, it's just awful. Darren Boswell, bring it back to reality. Yeah. I have a question. How much white patches? Here's one for Marty. Does a snake need to exhibit before it's called a pied? And I'm assuming he's referring to.
He's talking about his beautiful marbles that he's popped out this year. That is definitely not a question for me. I don't have any idea about what. Well, pieds are recessive genes, so like on that topic that we just spoke before, you can't just have it if it's not recessive. You can't call it a pied, can you?
Well, no, but then if you think you've got something pied, you would then have to outcross it to something that's not.
But
and then start a breeding project.
as you've
Are you
probably
saying
seen,
you can't prove a recessive gene in one clutch, Darren? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who you are.
What did
Just
we laugh
checking.
at this week, Darren? The possible quadruple. What was that thing that we saw? That ad?
Yeah,
What was it?
I'm not going there.
Laughing at it after.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think in regards to that marble, the patchwork on the marbles. I mean, a lot of us have bred them. We've got them.
Yeah.
You know, a few we're now working with them. So I suppose it's something you can just refine down the track and see how far you can get that. I think I've got about 5 or 6 animals with those scales that are.
But they seem to be popping up more and more now, Marty.
Oh, I think it must be come back from original. Let's say not Snake Ranch, Southern Cross Reptile line, the
Yeah,
original
because
ones.
Dave
I think-
Evans made the first one, and then now it seems like specific animals in people's collection. What's it guy? What's the other guy in Sydney that made almost a whole clutch full of them that they had the Bible?
Steve Carruthers.
Yeah.
Steve, yeah.
Did he do
well,
that
they're
again this year?
Well, they're different ones. They're
Yes.
That's different to what Darren's talking about.
So he made them again to look like that this year.
He did, but that is a different line, as Marty said. I think that's another whole gene altogether.
That's from the
Steve
same.
has done that for years.
Yeah, so that's different
Oh.
again.
So, but has he actually used some of those hatchlings? It'd probably be next year the first time that he could put that back over the mother to see if it's something stable in that line.
Yeah,
Yep,
he hasn't.
but
I don't think
nice.
he hasn't bred the hatchies back to the parents yet. But Steve can comment if he obviously knows more about it than anyone. But in regards to those nice white patches, which is the reduction of those scales. Look at the marbles. The marbles got about 3 layers of color, I guess.
Yeah.
Some are, and then it looks like some of them, which strips all those 3 colors away. So you just got the white base.
But they also have the messed up pattern though. The pattern that's still, and that's usually a good sign. And I'm not going to call it early. Like I'm not going to say anything, but in my mind, a pied snake has to have the white, and then whatever normal pattern is in the mix has to have a totally warped, like the albino bird, like the pied.
So what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. That. Yeah. Is it up the side as well? Yeah, it's all.
This snake in particular has a very high side.
Yeah, that's nice. Look at Brent. He wants that, Brent.
Well, we can do something with that.
Well, Darren can do a lot with it because I know what he does after dark.
Oh, look at the black.
That's why I have big snakes, Marty.
Darren says, he says Darren just says he just love to know what this white thing is in the marbles, and it's going to take a few more years.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I'm sure, Darren, you're working on, as you know, probably repeat same pairings. I've got a good group of those animals that over the next few years I'll try and refine it and get that white further through it.
Yeah. Oh, they are nice. I mean, it gives it. I just that type of stuff is just exciting to me. You know, like it's a small, compact snake. You never know what you're going to make out of him. You know, it'd be nice if Steve, if it does turn out that it's something that can be isolated out of that line out of Steve, and it doesn't get washed out. You see, the problem is now to take one of those pied-looking marbles and putting it out, crossing it, and it washes all of that out. Then it defeats the purpose. You know, so you'll have to inbreed to do something with that line.
Yeah, you got to work. You got to work with it.
And if that's the case, it's polygenics.
Yeah. Oh,
but then again, and if it's just a polygenic thing, it's still a cool snake to work with.
Oh, 100% to you know, I mean, long-term goal to make it just a pure white ant.
Yeah.
You know, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. 100%.
James Denham, hello, mate. He says,
hello, James.
High white sides and ringers on the tail is pied markers, but unless it can be isolated from the marble gene, I don't think it can be called a true pied. Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if we still had those Snake Ranch, those real pied things that they had.
Marty's got some, so here.
Marty Kennedy or Marty Bahaja?
Wrong Marty.
Yeah, Marty Bahaja definitely doesn't have those, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Here we go, Scott Iper. Hello. Oh, there's a few people on here now that I haven't seen in a while. Hello, Scott Iper. So, what
Scott.
sort of mutation is a marble? Is it effectively a calico? That's an interesting idea.
Oh, how
But I think
how,
a calico. I think calicos are no. I
they're not
think
recessive.
calicos and berms and retics are just random things that pop up.
Yeah,
it's not a
different to
recessive.
BHPs. Same
Yeah.
with calicos and BHPs are the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just a random, I suppose, a bit like paradox. It's just random anomalies that come with it in cotches. I mean, they look cool, but you know, many people that have tried breeding it, tried mating with it, never produce them consistently in any way, shape, or form. In
Now-
BHPs, that is.
It
it's
is
such
nice.
it's such a complex mutation, isn't it? It's not
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's so
polygenics.
weird.
I think it's just the way I just think it's the way the genetics arrange themselves when the embryo is formed. You know, I just think it's some random defect that happens, and it's something that's not, you can't replicate it.
Are you talking about calico and other stuff?
Calicos? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
it's
look,
nice, you know, like it's nice to have that type of stuff in your collection. It's like having striped, you know, it's like anybody can have an albino in his collection, but very few people can have really nice striped carpets in their collections, or a lot of calico in there. You know, like I could have a whole collection of just one-off animals and just look at them the whole day, even regardless of whether it's reproducible or not. It's nice if it is but it's what makes it exciting is to open a drawer and go, shit, this is a one-off. It's like Trump, Brent. You know, like, is that snake still? We haven't spoken about that snake in a while. Is that still going?
Still going, won't eat, still alive though. I've assisted it a few times. It's it looks reasonably healthy, but yeah, just no interest in food at all.
It could be something that just happens of, you know, like that snake could just start. When was he born? That was last season, so he could still kick on. You know, like sometimes they just take a while to get going. Interesting conversation though. Yeah.
Well, back onto Scott's question though, but
yeah, sorry.
You've got a snake that pops out pink, and then can turn black.
Yeah.
Can turn yellow. Can turn white. Obviously, as a hatchie, you know if it's going to be a dark marble or not. You can tell these days which way they're going to go, but it's just such an intriguing mutation.
Plenty of variation in it. Very cool.
Yeah. Kevin Milner, hello mate. I haven't seen you in a while. Somebody asking about the snake ranch. We just that's a technical question.
He had technical difficulties.
Scott says, I thought Paradox was no longer used as either a chimera or mosaic. Yeah, but I don't follow that. I don't follow
Depends on who you talk to.
I don't follow the herpetoculture jargon that closely anymore. You know, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know. Is this?
You've got. Let me go big screen so you can show people. You've got some. He's got some treats in those drawers, hasn't he? A little bit further away, it's not focusing. Yeah, there we go.
I got a couple of T plus Paradox, very very mild black marks and stuff on them.
Very nice.
Doesn't produce anything. It's just like
has that gotten more and more pattern as it's gotten older, Marty, or not?
Yeah, I think we're looking at it now because I don't actually get these out. I usually just feed them, but this is a hatchie.
So much. So much nice stuff, right? Don't get them out all the time, you know.
It's a nice animal, but yeah, it's as you can see, it's covered in it.
That's grown though. Is that the one that was that?
That's it. My hatchies, my whole backs are 120 grams or something.
He's like Brent when he feeds his snakes. Oh my!
Imagine Darren fed him.
It'd be half that size.
Yes.
That's when you've got 750 to feed on feeding day, Darren. It's a little bit harder to.
Yeah, it's harder to give them the type of love that Marty gives his babies.
It's funny when you mention that and you see people put up a post, feeding day, and they put up a photo of like 20 rats.
And
you know, it's like wow.
You crack open, while you're standing there, you're cracking open a bag of 100 mice, saying, "Oh, this is going to go by one rat." Oh, okay, that's nice.
I think I fed 160 one day, and that was just like adult mice. You know?
How good is breeding season when we know we don't have to actually feed anything?
Not clean shit.
You can't wait for that.
6 months of holidays. Oh, this is fantastic.
You don't have to clean up snake shit or whatever. Josh, just quickly.
I've had to ask my boss that January, February, March that I actually only work 4 days a week.
Why are you quieter now with your...
Right.
Josh Verstuca, quickly. Because we couldn't hear you. Why does it sound like you're further away from the mic, though?
Who?
Marty?
Me? Nothing's changed.
Sounds all right to me.
Okay, cool.
It's probably my niece's shit set up. That's all right.
Yeah.
Rookie studio.
Amateurs.
Yeah. Moving around.
I'm surprised.
Just Josh Festuca said as well. Thank you for contributing, Josh. Is it possible that marble could be a mixture of multiple traits, hence why you get the yellow, brown, white, and black marbles, or that's simply just polygenics? I mean, that's what Marty was saying before. You start with a pink snake, and then you get stuff that change over time. I think it's just I just think it's how the hormones trigger the different genetics to get the color going.
And the more that get around, the more variety you'll see as well. More people breeding.
Last season, I put I'll show you what my black one looked like now.
Oh, yeah.
That's because you beat it too much.
Whitney. I put a white over black last season, and I only got a small clutch. And actually, I've only got one that survived. And it was a slow starter, but I'm starting to see a little bit of difference. So I'm trying to work out to see if, which trait they actually take, if that makes sense. So because it's either if it goes dark or if it actually stays lighter. So we'll just wait and see till it grows.
But it's something that you can make more. I mean, it is something that you can refine. So if you put white to white, you have a larger percentage of white. But can you still get darker ones in a clutch?
Dave Evans, obviously the first, in my opinion. I think Trent Rennick's actually popped them out too. But the white line of marbles, he's continually to refine that white line. They still get black speckles through them as they grow. Every shed they keep, as adults, they keep changing. But he's the one that's been working with the whites for the longest. So he's not all of them come out white, as in like pure white. So
here's a technical question again. Kevin Milner first. Although very low expression, I feel the marble gene in Antaresia is a form of pied. Okay. And then Scott says, so is the marble. I think we covered it a little bit earlier, Kevin. I don't know if you followed the whole conversation. So Scott Iper says, so is the marble mutation linked to pattern rather than base pigment distribution? The original marble was collected in the Adelaide River, as I recall, and it was typical colored children eye. So it would have been I can't remember what the first marbles. I think
I saw a photo of the original marble, actually. One of the original marbles, because there was two, wasn't it? Or was it only one?
It was only one. I think it was only one. And Simon, I don't know if he did a deal or something like that. I think he did post he did have a photo of it in one of the reptile magazines at the time.
Someone posted it. Someone posted that original actual marble on one of my comments in one of my posts. So I think it was more of a darker, if I remember correctly. It was it wasn't obviously light like what we've got now, but it was just like one of your typical normal marbles.
That's a good question though from Scott, because what that implies is that the marble mutation is linked to pattern, but I think it's got a pigment element of it as well.
Yeah, but Scott's really smart too. So
we could be working with two interacting mutations that it's causing that. So on one side you get the because there's no pattern on them. They don't have a children eye pattern anymore. You know what I mean, Marty?
Yeah, well, I actually was saying
it messes up the pattern, and then it affects the pigment distribution through the snake as well. So we could be working with
Dave Evans about that the other week. I reckon there's I don't know. I'm not as you guys know, I'm not that smart when it comes to mutations, but I reckon there's a couple of different mutations that potentially, whether or not it's that patch gene comes into it. Sometimes maybe there is a carry, maybe there is a Hetzer patch. Darren can tell us what his parents that he paired together to create his patches all through his. But
it could be just something linked to the marble gene as such as well.
Yeah,
like the two are not one in the same, but you're not going to get one without the other.
You can't get one without the other. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
but that's going to be so. What I think what's going to be interesting is to see how these things because we've seen how it works with the T positive. Yeah, there's T positive tarbles. But then to put it with something that disrupts the pattern as well, because a T positive has normal, they've got normal pattern. It's just the
color, the base color,
black. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what the marble does when you start crossing them with the granites. So that'd be interesting to see how that one develops that you've got, Marty. Have you got it yet or not?
No, that's still. I'll show you a male. Here's another one. This is from that. This is Dave produced this one, but this is a marble, potentially posset granite, or is it actually a double?
Hang on, let me go big. Hang on.
Yeah.
See, that's got a very flaky pattern on. Was that one of this year's as well, or the previous year?
Last year. This is previous year. So, I
It
don't
does
know.
look different, the distribution though. See, it's got that speckly look to it.
Yeah. So,
And the head pattern, what's the head pattern like? Is it
it
marble
looks
head
like,
pattern?
oh, it looks like a. It looks. Obviously, it looks Mac to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does look Mac to me, that head.
Yeah. But the one that Colin's got, I might pop a photo up later, but I haven't got it back in my collection yet. I think he told me he lost it.
So what are you going to do to prove that? So what is that, a male or a female?
That one's gone over my double het girls.
So it's a male, isn't it?
It's a male.
Yeah. So you could put that over granite, and if you make granites, you know.
Yeah. So I've got this season it's gone over a double het girl.
Yeah.
So if it makes granites anyway, it should tell me.
So this just gives you sort of the insight into what breeders do behind the scenes, because we always just see the results. But this could be, this sometimes takes a long time. Sometimes it takes a whole season's, it takes a clutch. You have to sacrifice a whole clutch to prove something out.
This is a smaller one. This one's more of a marble.
People love this.
This one's how do I get the head pattern? Here we go.
So again, the head pattern looks normal, doesn't it?
Well, it looks it's a little bit different, but this is again a marble posset granite. So
yeah, but of the whole snake, the head looks the most like the wild type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, the clutches, again, hold back, growing. Darren, feed them.
That's a lot bigger than when I saw them in January.
Oh, when you come up, it's going to be good.
Yeah. The female, the Darren Boswell says, look, Faye says, here we go. Wow, Marty. There we go. She likes them.
Hang on. Are you telling me that I'm better looking than Brett?
I don't know.
Faye's the Antaresia queen. I guess you can be the Antaresia prince then, being such a handsome prince.
Wow.
You don't even get king status.
Antaresia prince.
Oh, definitely. Oh, no, that's Peter Birch. He's the self-named king of ants, isn't he?
Self-named.
King Ant.
Come on, let's keep it nice, guys. Let's keep it nice. Darren Boswell, the female that produced mine, has a white vertebral stripe, but the male is just a very light yellow-based animal with very dark flecking. I can send a photo if you like. Yeah, post a photo on your page, mate. We'll all run there and have a look afterward. And then Kevin Miller just says you can almost see the look of the ghost pattern on that one. Yeah, ghost. We had a long discussion about the ghosting earlier. I don't know. It's undecided. We'll just leave some certain topics. We'll just leave as undecided. I don't
have any ghosts. I don't have any ghosts in my collection.
Yeah. Did someone invite Aiden Dempsey back?
Oh no.
There we go. Scott says the mutation may affect multiple alleles and therefore switch things on or off when they are impacted with other mutations, leading to lethal combinations. Yeah, well, the marble, what sort of hatch rate did you have out of marble clutches, Mike? That's an interesting. What sort of do you?
Last year. I didn't have many. I think I only did. Well, I did double het granite marbles. So I did 3 clutches
using
of them.
head. Yeah.
No, I used those. There was 3 clutches there. They were pretty. The marbles, a couple died, but then again, they were just crap feeders. With marble to marble, I did only 2 or 3 clutches. I didn't actually have many.
Oh, okay. But it'd be interesting to know.
I had a lot of slugs actually last year. I didn't have a good run.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to keep note now of because that sometimes matter as well, especially when you're working with multi-gene animals, because you could have large amounts of dead eggs because the mutations aren't compatible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the marble gene is very bloody strong.
Yeah, I know, but you're not maybe not in combination with other stuff.
Yeah.
But
in regards to the triple het stuff, my marbles are pretty. The visual, those orange ones they're going pretty well, and they've got the possible T pluses in them as well. So far with the combos I've done, it's been pretty good.
Kevin just did correct in there. Sorry, Marty, not touching ghosts with a 10-foot pole. Okay, no worries, mate. It's undecided. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this I don't want to go for too long. I stayed up last night to see the Springboks beat the British Lions. It was great. It was glorious. Got to bed at 4:15 this morning, and I'm
Oof.
feeling it now. I'm not that young anymore. I used to be able to pull all nighters. Can't do it. But it was glorious watching the Springboks kick the British Lions' asses as usual. So it was nice. Is there any other questions that you guys want to? I like this marble. But it's all, every season shows us a little bit more about the mutations, and it's the guys like Marty that does the hard work with the multi-gene and quad gene. What's the most mutation? What's the most genes in them at the moment? 3 genes, 4 genes.
I'm only up to 3.
Okay, but it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Brent, what are you looking forward to this season, mate? What are you making? What are you going to show me when I come and see you after lockdown in 2023?
Yeah, 24, 25, whenever we get through this.
If we survive.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping to make some more triple head combos. Not visuals, just making heads at this stage for a couple of different things.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe albino granite jag. That's one that's eluded me for 2 or 3 seasons. Still not popped that one.
That'd be good.
Don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we cut some eggs later in the year, eh?
Yeah, I can't wait for the egg this year. Of course, the 3 of you, we could do egg cutting. We could do egg cutting videos every day of the week. So, like Darren could do, like 60.
That's only what I've seen, not what's been
over
paired.
top cam and you and me and then tomorrow it's Brent and me and then it's Marty and me and we'll just fill the universe with egg cutting videos. People love watching shit though.
I might get nothing. I might have to do special comments for you two.
Darren, while you're there, show us something. Show us some of those. Show us just hold up one of those new. You keep saying you can't get the colors right on the the caramel silvers and what's the other two?
I like this. Is my favorite. This is my favorite boy. He's
talking through the toilet door again.
Sorry, let me come back there and see.
So that snake's it's just too big, mate. I'll stick to the little ones.
Yeah, I know. You need to know how to handle a big snake. Let's see if we can get up close. This is my
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Watch.
There it is. Hello. That's my black and white coastal boy. Exantic. Dude, get out of the cord. Go on.
I think everybody at your house is streaming stuff at the moment.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just tangle it. There his tail. There we go.
That's a big snake, Marty, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's like hard to photo. Like he's really black and white,
out, isn't he?
Yeah, his head's like as white as.
So what did you say? There was a ghost?
Yeah, well,
looks a ghost.
Yeah, I've always said he was a ghost, but everything I've put him with has been caramel. So, but yeah.
Oh.
This is just from Polygenics. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to someone last night about it. You know, I'm like, actually, it was today. Actually, it was Travis, was it? Asking about whether the difference between the caramel versus the hypogene. If it makes a difference in the outcome, but I think it depends on what you base. Even with marbles, you can apply it to anything, depending on what it is that you want to achieve. Yeah. You have to start with a quality animals. Like if you want to go for something very light, well, there's no point buying a dark animal. So if you want to produce white marbles, there's no point going buying dark marbles. That's the line you want to go with. You want to buy some nice white ones for Marty or Dave, whoever's got that, and continue that process. And the same with if you want to, like if you mix it into a table, obviously all similar, but if you've got a white marble versus a black marble, that table's going to have a different outcome.
100%.
But this is what I always say is people are so easy to drop the money on something that's substandard. It's sometimes better to just save up a little bit more. Like all of you guys would be open to that. If somebody puts a deposit down on something and say, look, I'm going to need a little bit of time to just get money. If you can't afford the best snake that you can afford at this point in time, you can always negotiate something with the breeder, but put down the deposit, make them see you serious about it. And then say, look, I need X amount of time, as long as it's not 12 months, if it's like a month or two to get a better snake that you can afford, then do that. That's what I always recommend. But start with stuff that that is going to add to your collection instead of starting with just B grade animals that's never going to take you anywhere. You know,
and obviously keepers have different goals. Like, you know, you're just saying there's people that want to breed, and then there's people that just want to keep an animal. So obviously having a budget in mind, but also understanding that certain breeders that you contact don't work with cheaper or lower end stuff. We all try and accommodate for everyone, but a lot of my stuff now that I'm working with, I'm trying to push that lighter, wider patch marble. So they're definitely not going to be a $350, $400 animal. Because the work's gone into it. So
100%. That's how it goes. People don't always get that because they go, "Oh, I saw a marble for $300."
No,
why is yours $700?
Yeah,
it's like, well, go buy it somewhere else then. Oh, but I haven't seen one like that before.
And then they get upset because you hurt their feelings because you're like, oh, go buy them from that. People I've offended.
But it's funny you show that white patch just jumping over the peppers. I actually have a male pepper. He's off doing his duties in another room, but he actually has perfect white scale just above his cloaca. And the caramel actually posts up, I think it's that caramel pepper that I actually posted, has actually got a whole pile of white belly patches underneath. And I've seen it in a couple of them, and I'm like, I don't think it's a pied, so to speak, in the true terms of a pied.
Yeah.
But you can't help but wonder.
You know, but I'm sure there'd be breeders out there that would have claimed it as a new mutation. You know, it's got one speckle. It's got one speck. Look, we know one speckle that looks different, and it's something new. You know, it gets a bit old eventually. You know, like, I mean, it's not just it's just not that simple.
Darren, and no doubt, if you work with that animal, you're going to reproduce obviously polygenic. You know, you'd hope that you can increase that white patches. So.
But it's like that silver pepper that you've got, Darren, with the reduced pattern. Like, that is one of my favorite snakes. I mean,
he's right in cheddar.
That one that is so refined. And what is that, a male or female?
Oh, I'd have to go and have a look.
I don't even know.
Male.
But it's something like that could excel what you're doing with the rest. Because if it's something, and I'm not saying, but it's a type of animal that you plug back into your stuff to go into that direction.
As soon as that hatched out. Yeah,
all grey snake. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it be? Like an all grey. It's like that grey super zebra that you've got, Brent. That's another one of my favorite. Like, I mean, I can count them on two hands. The animals that I've seen that are like my favorite. That's
I've actually got a ghost out of the caramel pepper xanthe clutch that I produced last year, and he's virtually almost patternless. It's just like a grey with a black spot. I mean, the thing is, you know, when you're coastal blood in it, that melanin will come in at a later stage, but how much will come in?
That makes it exciting. You know that. I really like that.
You can't look at it and go, I don't really need it,
but it's better than working with stuff that has no, like, I mean, remember we spoke about it this week, Brent. The snows and the moon glows. You know, like. It sort of stops there because you can go and you can plug that type of stuff back. You can plug granite in there, and you can plug whatever, you know, you can plug striped in there, whatever. But at the end of the day, you really are just going to end up with a white snake. It's sort of
probably,
you know, whereas with pigment in a snake, it gives you a lot more options to work into a certain direction to make them like less black, you know, more black. You know, I mean. That's the exciting thing about what we do or what you do, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Minglows look awesome. They're a beautiful looking snake, and as you see, you can plug in different genes, and it can make it a powerful breeding tool. But to create something new at the end of it, when you look at the genes at their basic forms, you know, you've got hypo/caramel, which reduces pigment. You've got albino, which strips out pigment. You know, you've got all xanthe does the same thing. So when you start taking all the stuff out, there's nothing left. There's virtually no pattern there left to change when you introduce granite, silver pepper, zebra, you know, jag. Like, there's nothing left there to mutate.
There's no pattern.
There's nothing visually. And don't get me wrong, I'm not having a dig. I'm not saying that moonglows are, you know, you can't go anywhere with. I don't know what Mari's older. You can't do anything with moonglows. I'm just saying that.
Welcome back.
Like magic is back. I'm just saying that, you know, moonglows sort of, to keep to try and do moon glows in different combinations might not end up in anything visually strikingly different. So I'd love to have a moon glow. I mean, I've seen some outstanding moon glows. I think they're great. Like a pure white snake is like a pure black snake. It's like a patternless carpet. It's all the same style. It's like that orange albino granite, the albino granite stuff, Brent. Like that orange. It's like and there's a lot of other stuff that hasn't been made that we've been talking about. That's that's interesting, but it's going to take time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
So it's at least it gives us, especially with the silver pepper stuff. I can't wait to see what happens with all the silver pepper stuff. But then that's another 10 years.
Yeah, it's plenty
By the
going
time
on
you
there.
plug it into everything else and you hold back the heads, and then especially you, Darren, that likes to turn a 3-year, 4-year project into a 10-year project.
Yeah,
Can't help myself.
I'm just messing. Oh well. So if there's nobody else, James, just the last comment here. Both peppered and marble genes both have so much variation going on. The polymorphic project will be endless. Yeah. So luckily our animals all are so polygenically variable that it should keep things interesting.
Well,
I don't think anybody.
Polygenics, something I think a lot of people don't quite get how important it is in your line breeding. I mean, I know people, they go, oh, it's polygenic, polygenic stripes in jungles or whatever. But I don't think how much. I suppose I can't say how important it is when you're looking at producing something of how much effect that plays. You take albinos. It was my biggest eye opener was when I went to the States a number of years back. I went to Tinley Park. And I looked at albino ball pythons. It's like, ball pythons, we haven't got those. First time I've ever seen them and played with them, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And one gene, but you could have high whites, high yellows, high contrast. There was all this difference in our line bred in those specific traits. It's just polygenics, but the variation was amazing in the animals. Yeah. And I think when people are going to produce something, it's not about, I don't know whether quality is the right word, but with the quality of this xanthic or that marble or this, that, and the other, people just go, I want to make tarbles. I'm going to buy a marble and I'm going to buy a T+. Now, the difference between, at the moment, they're just tarbles. There's not a lot of variation in them, but that's going to change. As more and more people get them, there's going to be more variety. So whether you've got, I'd say Faye's probably got some of the nicest T+ patternless children's, you take those and put that with a white tarble as opposed to a darker normal pattern children's and a darker marble. Your tarbles are going to be at either end of the spectrum, and it's a personal thing. I'm not saying one's right over the other.
Well, you're not wrong there, Darren. The thing is, with the tarbles, originally when Dave first made the first T+ marble, there was only a limited amount of marbles that he had to work with. So that's 100%. So when the double heads come out, and that's what people don't understand. When I created my first tarble, which was just after Dave, probably a season later, I think, I was only working with the double hets or the T+ possets or whatever I was working with that came from that original pairing.
Yeah.
So I think any breeders that come in now that want to, and they do actually get a white marble over a light T+, and they think about, I've obviously moved, I've still got my breeders from that tarble line. So as much as mine are yellow, there's plenty of opportunity for other new keepers or experienced keepers to make better and cooler looking tarbles. So like you just said, by just choosing what you want to pair properly.
And I have to just add, Faye, I took photo. I went and saw some of Faye when I went up there 2 years ago to the expo when I brought you those display cases, Brent. I saw. Are you going to the? Okay. Faye has some of the best. I have to add to that. She has got probably the best T positive pattern.
Oh, her patterns are beautiful.
I haven't seen a snake like that. I mean, I can add to that.
Golden, wow, stunning. Yeah.
Beautiful. So even that, I mean, it's a good. James asks, is anyone doing the T negative marbles?
Or albino
marbles.
This is I've got, as I said, triple hets for that.
So sun glows.
No, albino marble.
Okay,
is that what you're saying?
Yes. I was going to ask if somebody's doing. Sun glows? Is people made that? Has people put the C positive into? Am I confused now that T positive?
Yeah, different caramel. You're talking about a recessive caramel versus an incomplete dominant.
What have I got? I've got
So-
het for marble, albino, and T plus. Yes, all in one.
I know it's crossing children with spotted. So has
I've
that
done
been,
that,
has that been done yet? With
Yes, I've got
yellow.
Well, I've got triple hets.
Sorry, I seem a bit scattered. It's probably because I didn't have sleep
I'll
last
start
night.
again. I'll start again for you, Manish.
Yeah.
I've got Go
triple, again, please.
I've got adult triple hets in that project.
Okay, so this year.
Fingers crossed. My odds last year were terrible.
What are we thinking that it's going to look like? Sunglows?
I have no idea.
I wonder if the base. I wonder if the orange would come out like it does with the carpet.
So you've got triple het albino marble. What's the other?
So you got T plus. Well, you got albino tarbles. You got T plus albinos, albino marbles.
Yeah, because T pluses do look like caramels, don't they?
Yeah. Well, it depends on one. It's T plus children's.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just thinking. Look like super hypos, like a T positive, children's look like the super hypo stuff that we use in carpets.
Yeah, but you're probably like a double visual. If you put a T plus, right, over a T minus over an albino, you're going to end up with a double visual still going to be albino.
Yeah,
because you're just stripping out the terosinates.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to see. Obviously, this season again, a T plus Evans line marble, whether or not it changes the tarbles dramatically
in appearance. Yeah. But the T plus over albino, like you do it. There is, I think, from memory, there was a couple that produced overseas different things that had a different outcome. But generally speaking, you're going to end up with, an albino.
Oh, so you would. There's a couple of breeders that have got double hets in albino marbles this season.
So children's over spotted would bring up the base color to be a lighter shade, wouldn't it? Am I right? Have you worked with children's overs? Have you worked with crosses spotted?
Those marble granites, the spotted.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the wild type because I'm thinking about the base color in the hybrid or in the.
Well, I've got double. Or do you want to see what a double het granite?
Show me what it does. I just want to because I'm trying to imagine what that would do. Sorry, Brent. I'm just my head's just looking at
this is a granite. Double het granite marble. So this is
a big dark, yeah. So it's not going to. So what's that base? So with that stripped out the black out of that, you'll have a lighter base color, and then to put the T minus in there. I think they'd be like a nice orangey color. I don't know. They look like.
No, but you're stripping out the T. Your T minus, right? T plus is trosinase positive. As soon as you put albino of it, you've got no trosinase to give it the caramel colour.
Yeah, and
because it's stripped out by the albinism.
That's a mixed blood granite.
Yes. Okay, so it's very similar to a standard granite.
Yeah, and that's post het marble. I can't even see it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Somebody, Brett Moy said something. Yeah, he works with stuff like that. Phase T positive, T positive. Is it platinums with tarbles? What is he say? Oh yeah, phase T positive,
T plus patternless
to tarbles make lavender blotching on them. So this is it's interesting. I'm just trying to imagine what it looks like because I know how it works like in the carpets, So I'm trying to see because we know what carpets do when you take out the melanin and add different things and whatever. So it's interesting to see what happens with them. Be nice.
I used to produce a lot of lavender T pluses back in the day, and that was just normal.
That was just part of the T plus.
Part of it. It's nothing to do with the patternless, in my opinion. Like Dave Evans did patternless over marble, and years ago, they don't produce anything, in my opinion, and his opinion, different to.
The patternless would just clean up the final snake, though. It would clean up the scales, though. You'd end up with a more solid, consistent looking color.
On a tarball, it just doesn't. It's got the marble gene. It just scatters everything anyway.
Yeah, but I'm talking about something like an albino. Albino, a patternless albino wouldn't have any of the pattern on it though. But we don't know we don't know if the marble.
Well, that's subject to the patternless. I mean, most of the patternless are always polygenic. But there's a few people saying, I guess you go back to the whole ghosts children's debate. There's people out there saying, "Oh, patternless is a." There's a few people say that patternless is a recessive trait, I believe.
Apparently there's a couple of different. I work with. I think what do I got? I did patternless to panelless, and they still produced some pattern, whether it fades over time. But
that's the thing. That's what patternless have always been known as being polygenic. But then there's a few people saying they're recessive. If that's true, theoretically, you should be able to put a patternless to anything, and make 100% hets, and then those babies should be patternless.
Which all have patterns. Mm.
Yeah, it's right. You put a patternless to a spotted python, for example. All those babies should look like spotted pythons.
I'm glad Brent said something there. I thought we lost him there. I thought he bored out of his mind talking about this Antaresia. But
he's been focusing on Aidan Dempsey's page.
What's that?
He's on OnlyFans.
Just absorbing all the information, Marty. I'm just soaking up all of this Antaresia knowledge.
Because you have to, because this is exciting stuff. Because Brent, it's stuff to look at. If it hasn't been done, and if it hasn't been done properly, then it's stuff that you could really look into moving in that direction and go, okay, well, let's find the base animals and let's start working with that. Antaresia luckily works. It's quick turnaround with Antaresia.
Well, I'm waiting for Brent to start shopping in my joint. I don't see you messaging me silly questions in the middle of the night asking for an Antaresia.
We'll happily
some stuff, Marty.
Make more of those.
I always ask Marty. He just never delivers the goods for me. It's like
doesn't have enough.
Nah. You stick to carpets, mate. You stick to carpets, mate.
Who's making the first albino granites? They should be around.
Yeah, that's not my project.
Who's working? Is anybody making them?
Is it progressive?
Yeah, he did and David Evans did make the T positive granites, didn't he? The T negative, T positives, yeah.
2+, actually, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he did make.
He definitely he did that. I'm just trying to think of.
The guy lives right near me in Penrith, actually, that has done it. He had one that I don't think made out of the egg. I never saw photos after it left the egg, but I'm sure he would have redone
it. Yeah, Dave did that years ago as well. But,
They don't seem to. What did Dave say? Dave said the one that he had didn't come out. It was just a troubled soul, So
it came out. I think it died. I think.
Yeah. Scott Ipers saying, sorry, this is just going on. Guys, if you need, just tell me if it's, if you need to go and stuff.
I've got to go shortly.
I know you've got responsibilities, mate. Scott Ipers says it's all about broadening of knowledge. There's no venomous talk, and yet I'm listening. Okay, no, I'm glad we could cater for, it's good to listen. And James says, are the patternless recessive, but polymorphic variation throwing the results? So it's like what you said, Darren. So it's a recessive trait, but then polymorphism is giving the patternless pattern sometimes. That could be a little bit of
recessive.
The patternless were always known as just being polygenic. So they're just the better patternless you had, created better patternless. Simple as that. Not a recessive trait. But there are people that are saying that they're recessive.
Yeah, that's clean, isn't it?
Well, there's different lines. Let me be more clear. Some people are saying there are, I think, recessive patternless lines, but I've yet to see them. I've got some patternless stuff out.
It's the same as now.
Very small though.
Oh wow, it's breeding size actually.
That always amazes me.
Stuff over here too.
It always amazes me how small those snakes can be when they're breeding size. Like coming from carpets, but even carpets, how many years did we keep male carpets at like 1.5 meters, and then you go, but they don't need to be that big. They can be like that size. They can be like that big and that skinny, and they can be servicing every female in the facility.
This one here was just lying belly up.
What's that?
So I don't know, little shit brown snake.
Oh yeah.
That's just a marble kind of project I'm playing with at the moment. You probably remember that black-eyed stimmy I produced a number of years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's like all white belly and very dark melanistic looking thing.
Out of all the
But-
60 clutches that you make every year, yeah. Okay. So let's call it for because we've gone over 2 hours. Marty has to run off to go and to do stuff, and then
I got two
rest of
babies,
you-
mate. I've got to sort out. Yeah.
need to
Got to
retire.
do his
to
eyebrows
couches,
again.
couches and watching telly. That's what I'm doing after this.
Netflix, more
I wanna
Netflix
go-
movies.
I have to go and waste 2 hours of my life watching the Fast and the Furious 9. I'm tipping I'm never going to get that time back, but I'm willing to sacrifice 2 hours to watch that garbage.
I've been doing all the old series with the kids as well. We've watched Men in Black. We've just watched Underworld. We watched what was the other one? We're in the Transporter series at the moment. So we're doing all. I've done all the Rambos.
Oh yes. I actually Dan yesterday to give me a little bit more variety. I got a month free trial on a fake email that I've got. So it's
we did all the Alien series. We've done all those. Yeah, we've done all the 5 Aliens. Yeah.
Transformers. Yeah. So
I could picture an alien coming out of your butt, mate.
I'm trying to run things and Marty keeps talking.
I named it Marty.
All right, well let's finish it up there. Quickly, just Brent, where can people find you if they need you, please?
OnlyFans.
KHP Reptiles, Facebook or www.khpreptiles.com.au.
Okay, Darren, where can people find you, please?
Facebook, Morelia by Design, website in progress. So hopefully that will be up eventually soon.
Yeah.
And on Facebook, and Instagram.
Marty, where can people find you, please?
Marty Bahaj is the best one to grab me on. Reptilia doesn't really get much traction, but the website will be up and running soon if I ever get some photos to my niece.
I was thinking about it this week. We need to get that thing up and going, you know.
I'll take some photos. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a Brent Smith onlyfans.com.au as well. You know,
100. Yep.
Special Brent time. You know.
Yeah, it
Intro
costs everyone 50 cents to have a watch.
Yep.
Come see my snake.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to watch you at sexing time.
Oh,
yes. Everyone loves to see the hemipenes come out.
Wow,
could be OnlyFans material. That definitely. There'll be some people that like that type of stuff.
all right, boys.
So thanks a lot for everybody. And
Keep it close.
Just we'll close it off there. And thank you, folks. We'll see you guys next time. And have a good week. And see you next time.
Take care.
See you, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Enjoy.